Alrighty, it is your favorite auditor, Audit Them, the one who encourages you to audit them. Testing, testing, audio testing. Audio clear. Testing, testing, audio testing. Hey, double A. We're looking at city ordinances and charter. Audio clear. Alrighty. So we're gonna go ahead through the breakthrough and we're gonna scan through the local ordinances. It should be relatively the same. Here we're looking at city ordinances from a municipality, and we're gonna start off with the charter. If you can hear the audio, please confirm by pressing the number 1. We're gonna scan through the local ordinances. It should be. Oh no, the audio is clear, loud and clear. Alrighty, let's zoom in a little bit here. Can you hear? Press the number 1. Volume is low. So you all right. Let's see here of an alternative. All right. I turned up the
Can you hear? Press the number 1.
mic
Volume
just a
low.
bit here.
So you all right.
And let me go ahead and make sure.
Let's see here of an alternative.
Desktop mic. Monitor. All right. It should be
All right. I turned up the
up now.
Here, press the number 1. Mic just a bit here. So
Volume is all right. It should be better now. If you still hear an echo, if you hear any echo at all, please let me know by pressing the number 2. Oh, you know what? Remove that one. Monitor off. Okay. So the original desktop audio has been churned up. Alrighty. Without a further ado, that's good. Alright. So like I said, this is relatively the same as far as the structure goes, as far as the charter and the ordinances of a local municipality throughout the United States. So here, once we get into the, here you have a preamble, right? We the people. Here you have the powers, number, and terms, qualifications, salaries and bonds, president and council, council members, general ordinances, successor to the mayor, vacancy of office of president and vice president, council, employee of council, removal. Okay. You see, here you have the entire charter, the entire structure. Administrative officers and departments. For instance, this is Section 4, Department of Law. The Director of Law shall be the head of the law department. He shall serve the mayor, right? The council, the administrative department heads, and officers, boards and commissions of the city as legal counsel in connection with the municipal affairs, and the subject to the direction of the mayor shall represent the city in all proceedings in court or behalf of any administrative board. He shall perform all other duties now or hereafter imposed upon city solicitors under the laws of Ohio unless otherwise provided by ordinance of the council, and shall perform such other duties consistent with his office as mayor of the council right? So it seems like the CEO really is at section 4, which is the director of law council. That's really the CEO. Well, if we keep digging here, you have, obviously, you have, the regular amenities that come with a municipality, such as planning and zoning, taxation and finance, referendum and recall, nominations and elections, miscellaneous. Wonder what's in the miscellaneous tab here. Miscellaneous tab is missing once you click on that one. Okay, nothing in there. Now we're gonna narrow down, because it seems like sometimes you run into these issues with these local municipalities, is that there's a lot of tips that there might be some negligence going on, right? Directly or indirectly. So I believe that's under the forfeiture section. But we're going to go ahead and keep looking through the charter for you see, let's check this out right here. Section 4, once again, but this is in a different category. This is under surety bonds, salaries and surety bonds. The council shall fix a salary or compensation of each officer, employee, or member of the board of commissions of a city. Any such person may be required by the council from time to time to furnish a bond, a surety bonds, for the faithful performance of that person's duty. Ooh wee! I like that. The faithful performance, right? That's telling you the presumably honorable staff. So faithful performance of the person's duties, and the council may provide that the premium for any such bond shall be paid by the city. Okay, etc., etc. So you see, now if we further look into this right here, we just took a quick glance at that, right? It's basically what we learned here is that the discharge has to be faithful. The discharge has to come along faithful performance to be, considered or tendered by the holding municipal seat, in this instance this municipal body. So further, if we look through the charter here, we will verify the let's look at section 6, for instance, council meetings. The council meeting should hold at least one regular meeting in each calendar month. The majority of the members of the council shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of business of any meeting at the council, but lesser number may adjourn the meeting from time to time and compel the attendance of absent members. At any meeting at which quorum is present, any ordinance or resolution may be passed or adopted, or any of action may be taken. You hear that? So the people, us being we the people, we could influence ordinance change or ordinance adoptions, etc., etc. So now check this out here. Let's see. Yep, or any action taken by the affirmative votes for 4 members of the council unless a larger number be required by the provisions of the charter or by the laws of the state. The clerk of the council shall keep a record of the proceedings in a journal, in which the yea or nay vote of each council member voting on a ordinance or resolution shall be entered. All meetings of councils or any other municipal body as defined in section 107 shall be subject to open meetings, which is the referring to state statute under chapter 107 of the codified ordinances. In its journal shall be available for public inspection at reasonable times, and this was amended in 1989. Okay, beautiful. So there's always need for updates and upgrades by the people influencing the local bodies, for the safety of the people and for the bettering of a community. So here, if we carry on here and we further look into let's take a look into section 7, the general ordinances outline. Alrighty. Time, place, and matter. Alright, beautiful. Nothing in that packet there. Well, section 12 is referring to removal. Here's where it gets tricky. Section 12, the council shall be the judge of the qualifications of its own members. Council may, by at least 2/3, vote all or of its members eligible to vote, expel or remove any member for gross misconduct, malfeasance, nonfeasance, misfeasance, in or disqualification for office for the conviction while in office of a felony or other crime involving moral turpitude, right? Felony or other crime involving moral turpitude. All right. For the president's failure to abide by the rules of council, or for absence without justification, excuse for 3 consecutive regular meetings thereof, prior to any action by council, the member whom removal is brought shall be notified in writing of the change or changes against the member at least 10 days prior to the hearing upon such charge or changes, and member charged shall be given the opportunity to secure counsel and to be heard. The member charged shall be given an opportunity to present any evidence that the member may deem necessary in defending against any charge made, and to examine under oath any witness appearing in support of the charges brought. Alrighty, if we take a further look into here, Alrighty, audio clear once again. Okay, great. Successor to the mayor, section 8. President of council shall serve. Alright. The successor shall be the president of council in the case of removal, disqualification. Shall successor become. Alrighty, let's see what else we have. Vacancy of office of president. Yeah, we went through. So, yeah, passing on, moving on beyond the agenda or the charter. Hey, Susan, happy 4th of July, 250th. Alrighty. So here we carry on and we have amendments, administrative code. We have the traffic code. The administrative code is interesting here. You have building regulations code, you have planning and zoning. So let's say we want to visit part 1, the administrative section. The administrative section, administrative code, is calling for the legislative, administrative, boards and commissions, judicial, and finance. Here under this label, it's extensive. You have the codified ordinances, the official standards, the wards and the boundaries, the public meetings, the legislative, council, ordinance and resolutions, affirmative action under chapters. Alrighty, here you have Title 5, administrative, mayor, and the list goes on. So here we're going to go ahead and narrow down. We're going to go ahead and look at chapter 101, codified ordinances. And here you have the designation, citation, headings. This is not legal advice. This is not any for tax purposes or any type of paralegal. In other words, don't try this at home. This is just for reading and education purpose only, and or entertainment. Alrighty. So here, if we carry on here, further look into the structure of the municipality, we go to the quick glance at the definitions section. Okay, take a quick stroll here. Alrighty, just glance at a couple of these. You can pause the video. Feel free to pause the video at any time in the case you need to. Again, this is relatively the same structure of any municipality in the 50 states. It's good to be informed with your local ordinances, state statutes. Alrighty, and as you guys know that a lot of different municipalities, not all, but there's plenty that have boundaries that are split up into separate wards, what they refer to them as. So in this case, different municipalities. In this case, this municipality is broken down into 6 wards. Alrighty. Here it shows some type of legal description upon each. Yeah, it's given a different legal description per each ward. Alright, moving forward here. Judicial. So under the judicial, it's just calling for municipal court. Here is the building code. Alrighty. Public nuisance. All right, here it is. Yeah, this is under the violation, notice of violation. If there's a nuisance, right? There's a big nuisance in the city of Willoughby. There's a dangerous nuisance in the city of Willoughby. You see, what's happening here is there's an employee that's working for the city of Willoughby that has potential official misconduct, negligence tied to his capacity, his or her capacity. Let's just keep it like that, right? Because once you start playing with the 14, the section right here, notice of violation, is that it carries on. Alrighty, non-compliance. If the owner, person, or entities that claims an ownership interest. So this is non-compliance with notice of violation. You see, now the intricacies start going down, uphill and downhill for non-compliant structure, right? Non-compliant could be malfeasance, infeasance, and we read through that earlier. So non-compliance has to be taken seriously. It's not a game. If the person or the owner or entities claim ownership in a building, in a land or a structure, or an agent or a person in control of a building, of a separate or portion thereof, which a notice of violation and or has been issued pursuant to 134103 cannot be found within the stated time or has not appealed, right? So the person has, listen, the person has a, let's say the building has a nuisance, right? A dangerous nuisance, and the owner of the property wants to, or has received and takes no action to a notice of violation, it could become judicial. So there could become a lien on that property. See, because here's what it says. If the person failed to appeal, so let's say the person wants to appeal. Okay, fine. The person has to come forward, and the person has the right to appeal on how there's no nuisance in that said property. Right? So in this case right here, it's calling for if there's failure, negligence, or refuses to comply with notices and order, the building or zoning inspector may take necessary action to demolish and remove the unsafe building or structure, or may advise the director. Okay? So here, once we start carrying on, alrighty, audio loud and clear, audio testing loud and clear. Yeah, the volume is turned all the way up. Alrighty, in the furtherance here, as the audio has been confirmed, so there's a situation now. There's a dangerous individual defying a court order who is admitted to trading and selling weapons without a license from a building, in the same sense by making threats. So these are all the things that are being notified, and if there's negligence from these agencies to act on this type of information, then there has to be litigation brought upon the charter. So it's, in other words, if there is any type of dispute, there is a strategy written already, provided by the local charter, by the local municipality, local governing body, of how it's supposed to handle itself in the time where there's a dispute. Remember, for all non-compliance, there are measures for compliance to be met and brought to. So let's check here. Alrighty. Back on. Fine audio. Perfect.
Remember, for all
Perfect. Alrighty, vacancy. So yeah, as we carry on here, we have to exhaust remedies. There was once a quote that I remember by an author who said it's kind of like, the reason sometimes the code enforcer, you need folks like that because, or like an exterminator, when you have a parasite inside a building, you have to call the exterminator to come and clean that hazard up because you don't want that leech carrying on cancer for going unnoticed. You know what I'm saying? When there's a danger in there, a virus, that has to be complied with. It can't be kept overlooked. Because if you continue to overlook that parasite or that virus, it will go ahead and manifest into its, cancer cell, which is a poison. You want to try to apprehend the poison before it glooms. You see? So these charters here, like I said, they're written in a way where it's clear and direct, really. Let's see here what else we have. Director of Public Service. Alrighty, Public Works and whatnot. So the Director of Law, yeah, that's the head, really, head of the public body. Let's see what else. Glance through it. If you like, on your own time, you can visit. You're encouraged to visit your local ordinances, and get started there, and eventually look through your state statutes as well. Familiarize yourself with your local governing bodies, so you can stay in the loop. So, if we carry on here, we gonna go through the okay, and prohibiting use of buildings, right? Because, like I said, here you got a guy out there that's on a daily basis in broad daylight getting on camera and saying his intentions of causing harm in one tongue, and then bragging and boasting about weapons, all in the same sense, while acknowledging he has a warrant against him. So, man, I'm telling you, the cancer on a vehicle, it starts chipping away like paint chips, and it continues to continuously damage, rust more and more metal. You know what I'm saying? So that you got to be careful with that type of stuff, man. You got to have the right tool, the right cleanup for that. So here we're looking at the posture. Here is 1341, vacating and prohibiting use and prohibiting use of building. This structure is in a dangerous condition. Alrighty. Well, it's all up to interpretation here. You know what I'm saying? If we start digging deep into or matching, kind of like blending the ordinances side by side with the state statutes, they work hand in hand, really. So, in order to accomplish a legal proposition, you have to be able to have the right type of remedies or the right type of seasonings to cook up the right dish. You know? Like when you're in a courtroom, you're having a suit, you're in a suit, taking care of a suit. So we're going to go ahead and review the Ohio Revised Statutes now. I want to show you negligence. We're going to go ahead and carry on negligence. Hey, what's normal? Long time no see. So now let's get into negligence. Ohio Code negligence. Imagine having somebody in a building down there in Ohio that's such a danger to society that he has no regard for human life whatsoever. And he makes it clear on his deteriorating ambition and his suicidal tendencies by the things he says on a daily basis from the office that he sits in, the chair he sits in the state of Ohio, directing his threats from that dark place that he sits in, admittedly, across many families. And it's happening day in and day out. And there's degrees to it. I'm telling you, man, there's negligence going on. There's a whole lot of negligence going on from official oath holders. So when you start adding all this stuff up, it's like there is a exhaustion of remedy. You guys know what that is. So check this out. Negligence ties to official malfeasance. For some reason that one is not pulling up. All right. All right. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Under ethics. All right. The mic is in or the mic is out. Representation. No, this is a little tricky. All right, let me go into duties through the stalking section. Yeah, let's do that. Go ahead and do that. Not a problem at all. What is it? 2903, I think it is. Yeah, I believe it's 2903 ORC. All right. So yeah, all of this stuff, it ties into the really at all levels. All right. Anyhow, I'm gonna pull up the Illinois side. Let me pull up the Illinois side. All right, yeah, here we go. We'll pull up this. I don't want to show the opinion. I want to show the actual the legislative intention here. All right, here, yeah. Let me zoom in on this one right here. Beautiful stalking. Okay, so stalking in Illinois is a petition under the domestic violence division. Domestic violence could be two types of interactions. It could be as a family member or intimate partner, or it could be on an internet stranger type. So a person under stalking in Illinois, a person commits stalking when he or she knowingly engages in a course of conduct directed at a specific person, and he or she knows or should know that this course of conduct would cause a reasonable person to fear for his safety or the safety of third person, or number two, suffer emotional distress. A3, a person commits stalking when he or she knowingly and without lawful justification on at least two separate occasions follows another person or places the person under surveillance, or any combination thereof, and at the time transmits any threat, intimate or future bodily harm, sexual assault, confinement, or restraint. So, bonjour, bonjour. The sound is quite low. I'm going to try to turn it up a bit here by bringing the laptop a little bit closer. Hopefully that'll resolve the... I don't have the sound card installed at the moment. If I had the sound card installed, it would have had I'll be able to turn up the mic a lot more. But this right here now, we're going to scroll down here. So here we have stalking, right? So here you have stalking. Now check this out. Stalking is two or more events, right? Now look at this. Let's see. No stalking contact order. No contact stalking order for Illinois. There's a lot of victims out there that have been targeted by stalking, online stalking, and I'm looking into all the intricacies behind it, and what I'm seeing is there's a pattern. The allegedly the stalkers, they have a predatory type of behavior. They fall into the category of human traffickers, pedophiles, rapists, ones that are fixated and cannot control themselves. So this is something that's very dangerous, and there is resources out there, and there is justice for all that. So the first thing that you could start off with is knowing the laws behind it and what's governing these type of situations and scenarios, because in that you could find remedy, and you could find the right petition to handle that situation just right, and be able to get to the right justice and hold the individuals accountable wherever they're at. You know what I'm saying? So check this out right here. So if we go to stalking no contact order. So here's the definition in Illinois of a violation of a stalking order. A violation of a stalking order in Illinois is under 720, which is a criminal code, ILCS 51239. It's a violation of a stalking order. A person commits a violation of a stalking no contact order if he or she commits any act which was prohibited by a court or fails to commit any act which was ordered by a court. Right? So here, if we carry on and we go to aggravated stalking, we're going to repeat this one more time before we go forward. If a person, he or she, commits an act which is prohibited by a court order or fails to commit an act which is ordered by a court order. So here what we're going to go ahead and do is look up the successor. The successor to the stalking. You have been stalked. Rebecca? Oh no, Rebecca, I have a order in place. No contact stalking. And I'm doing a publication here, an overall review of the statutes and the charters and how it all links up in the case where there is malfeasance or negligence, and basically like put on notice, you know. So let's see here, we will carry on. The window, let me open up the window once again. Close out of that one. There we go. Alrighty. So you see, yeah, Rebecca, there's a stalker that's using the courts to make a mockery out of the courts and make a mockery out of everything, showing the direct definition of these predatorial statutes, basically incriminating himself, and he's using the court as some type of delay tactic to commit crimes further, thinking that he's going to be able to somehow wash all the harm that he has committed against many people away, all while there is a court order in place and a warrant against him. So it's like this person has no intentions to show good faith at all. Let's just say in the worst case, he believes that the stalker believes that the case will get dismissed. The order is in place right now as we speak. He's not showing any good faith for a defense to get the case dismissed. As a matter of fact, he's showing himself to be more of a danger to society by the things that he's saying and the anger that he's displaying on the internet and the intentions of his murderous intent and the things that he's saying. This is some serious stuff. I'm telling you guys. It's so sickening and disturbing if I was to sit here and play sound clips and sound bites of the perpetrator doing these things right now. You guys would be like, yeah, that person, something's not clicking with that person. That's why I'm showing you the remedies here in the laws and the things that the person is going to be facing. Because, it's evident without a shadow of a doubt that this is nothing more than a case study. And it's just another individual on the books. You got to study how do these psychopaths think or function, what leads them on. What is it? But evident in the end, basically, these statutes, they really are written there for a purpose. So violation of a stalking. Okay, beautiful. Here we're going to take it to the successor, aggravated stalking. There's a lot of YouTubers already that you guys seen that had such a big pride and such a big bubble that eventually came crashing down on them. Okay, aggravated stalking. Aggravated stalking. So here's the successor. Here is aggravated stalking. The perpetrator is convinced that he's so confused, he thinks that it's a domestic relationship. He doesn't understand that stalking could be complete strangers and happening through internet technology, through telecommunications. Doesn't think that harassment and stalking could take place through telecommunications, right? And it's like he's in the level of his behavior, really, it's very alarming. I'm telling you. An aggravated stalker is a person who commits aggravated stalking when he or she commits either one of these items. We're looking at number 3. Violates a order of protection or a stalking no contact order. Okay? A person who commits aggravated stalking when he or she is required to register under the sex offender registration. Alright, so here's what we're looking at here. An aggravated stalker is someone who violates a stalking no contact order. It's so saddening that these people cannot control them. These dangerous individuals cannot control themselves. This is a felony. Aggravated stalker commits a class 3 felony. Like, this person thinks he's going to be able to have a meritorious defense, right? Like a good faith defense. He keeps coming on the internet and saying he didn't have his day in court. Of course he did. He spoke by himself. He presented a motion by himself before the judge. The judge looked at him face to face, yelled at him in the courtroom, and told him his motion is not granted for 2 reasons. 1, it's off timing, and 2, it doesn't have a defense behind it. He doesn't have a good faith reason. Now he's trying to fight the same argument once again, but delay it and have an attorney behind it. While at the same time he's using this delay tactic to think that he's causing a destruction amongst somebody else's life, which he is doing. He's causing harm and money wasting and time wasting and uh, you name it, man, all type of irreparable harm. He's also causing himself to destruct because he keeps coming on the line on the internet, the stalker, and he keeps saying how much mad he is and how pissed off he is and how he trades off that pissed with him playing with his and shooting off his guns. Well, once you start stepping into the predatorial levels as a stalker, because stalkers do turn into the predatorial level, they are in the predatorial level as human traffickers, pedophiles, rapists. They are on that chart of sickos, psychopaths, obsessive creeps. So once you start going into that territory, the court will order you to surrender your firearms. We're talking about an individual who's coming and claiming that he's selling weapons out of his apartment complex with no license, which is required for a license. It's a felony if you don't. We're talking about someone who target based off creed or ethnicity, which is a hate crime, a felony in both states. This is someone that's is a danger, really is a real life parasite. Okay, so here, if we carry on here, and then he proudly sits around having a flag of known pedophile flags on their channel. Sick people, I want to have nothing to do with them, man. They deserve these charges that they are facing. And the jury and the people will see how these people have no regard for human life. The stalker has no regard for human life whatsoever, from the words that he says on a daily basis, and from the 3 or 4 individuals that are helping him out and create more chaos on the internet, which is a telecommunication harassment portal, right? But these people don't see what's coming, man, because it's so evil what they're doing. You know, you don't go around and one guy got on the airwave and said that, I'm telling you, man, just save your guys' breath. Wouldn't like to have him after me, says Rebecca. Yeah, well, you know what? He looks so trashy. He looks so trashy. It's like it's a gift and a curse. It's a curse because it's evil and wicked, and you never want to have somebody sick like that mesmerize about you or obsess in a demonic way, wishing for your downfall and your death, and saying these things openly on the airwaves. So now his police chief, his mayor, his staff members, they're negligent. They are all negligent because they have not investigated this guy, and he believes he could continue to get away with these type of crimes. So here's what you have as cyber stalking. This is the definition of cyber stalking in the Illinois jurisdiction. ILCS, cyber stalking. And you see, the thing is that in Ohio, a stalking order is mandatory to enforce. Violation of a stalking order is mandatory, even if it's an out-of-state order in Ohio. So you guys are going to be like, his followers are going to be in such hypnotized in an illusion. He cuts these videos into bits and pieces, and he leaves out. He knows that the worst could come and happen to him from his own decisions. When I say the worst, having him fingerprinted and charged and stripped of his ability to discharge any type of harm Here's cyber stalking here. Cyber stalking: a person commits cyber stalking when he or she engages in a course of conduct using electronic communication directed at a specific person, and he or she knows or should know that would cause a reasonable person to number one, fear for his safety or the safety of a third party, or suffer the emotional distress. Or a person commits cyber stalking when he or she knowingly, without lawful jurisdiction, on at least two separate occasions harasses another through the use of electronic communication, transmit a threat of immediate or future bodily harm. So what does this psychopath do? He goes on a daily basis. The other day he went on and he said quotes of death on a daily basis. Published on the internet, and it keeps appearing that it goes unknown. Like it's not being watched, or he think he's gonna be able to get away with this stuff. So it's a gift and a curse, because you don't want to have somebody preying on you in such a demonic way. But it could be a gift in my essence, because God has made me such a strong individual and such a passionate individual, knowledgeable individual, that I'm able to endure this stuff, to be able to put it together legally through the legal route, through the ways of a documentary, and expose this entire genre, because it's just another case study, just like everything else we go through in life. All the other major guys and the big guys, it's a downfall, it's a loss. You know what I'm saying? But it's a gift and a curse. Rebecca says, Illinois. No, the stalker is in Ohio, is in a different state. And he thinks he's so untouchable. He believes that if he has a arrest warrant for him in Illinois, then he could continue to do this stuff because it has no effect on him in his state. That he could continue to cause crimes in other state, and that he's protected in his chair, while threatening with weapons and death threats, clear death threats on a daily basis, and encouraging this stuff amongst, he got 4 or 5 of his sick followers, handicapped and elderly, that are engaging in additional text messages and unwanted communication. So like, these people have to be the stupidest people. And here's the thing, here's how disturbed the stalker is. The stalker goes on his channel and he live streams his attorney-client privilege. He shows the contract between his attorney on the internet and disrespects his attorney by name. So it's like, at this point, his attorney is acting in a bad faith scenario and is sanctionable. I think that he's pulling a delay tactic to allow his client to proceed on incriminating himself. Yesterday, the stalker puts up a picture of my sister once again, puts it in the face of the world when she was a minor, 13 years old, and then starts making sexual remarks throughout the videos. It's like, I'm telling you, this person is such a fucking wicked bastard. And he has to be one of the stupidest person, because he looks so trashy. He looks so trashy, man. And anybody that supports that type of trash, it's good to haul you into the court and show your comments off to the jury, to show the jury what type of criminal behavior you folks are indulging in. Because you're going to come to the early settlement table for his followers that are indulging in this type of predatorial rhetoric. So these laws are written clear and concise to outlaw criminals like that. That's an elderly psychopath. Who does that at his age? You know, especially someone who has nothing, who has no children, has no family, has nothing. He accumulates bad points, says Rebecca. It's like it's a case study of what's behind the minds of these um, predators, you know. Now, in his state, there's a mandatory statute that requires individuals like him to mental treatment, right? Because I could sit here and I could give you a list of many things that meet that threshold of why he would need an evaluation, and what he is doing is great at manipulating people, but he cannot manipulate the people he has caused harm to, because I had many people that reached out to me and said that he is an evil guy, he is an evil person. They felt something very disturbing from his presence when he inserted himself into the business of others. So there's a demonic force behind the individual, and um, I'm fighting this all the way through. You know, this person make himself look so trashy. I'm telling you, you guys are going to be so disgusted. See, I'm not on that level to keep calling a person things that are just. Here's how stupid the individual is, that there's an order against him. He takes the exhibits from the court docket. He shows those exhibits on the screen that are showing an individual, one of his followers, sending me lewd emails every day for 60 days. He sent me a lewd email, which is criminal offense. And he commended him. He told him to keep sending me emails. So now, just the day before yesterday, the guy sends me more lewd emails, and the stalking order completely says on there, directly or indirect contact. So he's encouraging 4 or 5 individuals every single day to continue on. But like I said, he's going to cause a lot of chaos or a lot of news articles and stuff like that because of his actions, of his criminal behavior, you know. It's not necessarily about him. If he gets charged and, you know, he's no longer committing crimes, if he's restrained, the sad part is that the others that partook into this criminal organization could also be facing legal fees and or potential criminal prosecution. So here we have, let's see here. All right, yeah, federal. This is it, 922 A1A. Okay. So like I said, this stalker now, what he's saying and doing is that he's claiming that he has weapons that are forbidden from carrying in the state of California and New York, and that he wants to sell these weapons um, to an individual. But he doesn't have a license to do such a thing. He's selling weapons that are, let's see here. His reasoning is he's selling the weapons because he needs to be able to find a criminal lawyer to represent his actions in court. Because he doesn't seem to realize, this is why I think he needs to be institutionalized, is because he cannot control himself. We took every step to examine him, and he failed every way through. He has no He has no regard for human life. He is a walking timer. Um, Penalties in prison. Here it is. Yeah. All right. Pull this up. Pull this one up right here. All right. Yeah. So it's a federal offense. Another thing that he does not realize is that, here, let me put this on the screen. It's not popping up. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's not it. All right, here we go. So here you have a guy that has a warrant against him, acknowledging that he has a warrant against him, and he's saying he cannot be stopped. In the same sense, he is saying that he has weapons that are forbidden from. I already downloaded these videos as evidence. He's saying that he has weapons that are banned from specific states from possessing, which is telling you these are damaging, lethal weapons. So now he's going on a live stream saying that he's got someone meeting him at an apartment complex where there's a sign that says guns are not, gun ordinances not allowed in that apartment complex. I'm pretty sure his lease says no weapons allowed either. But now think about him committing a felony. If he was to sell that, because he has no license to sell, if he was to sell the weapon, or he already sold the weapon to a convicted felon, check this out. See, I have sound audio. It's just that this guy keeps incriminating himself on a daily basis because he cannot restrain himself. So 18 USC, it's not necessarily that he's targeting the protected party and harassing the protected party. He's targeting many people, and the main thing is he's targeting his own inability to see his demise and his criminal actions, that he will plead insanity is my guess. I'm just guessing. He might plead insanity by the time, it's all done and over with, when he really faces account. Because you see, that's the thing, he faces no account. He's like a big baby in a diaper. He needed legal expenses to have a attorney represent him for the stalking case. So he goes online and he creates um, a gathering money method. He creates a GoFundMe and he raises enough to retain an attorney to represent him in a stalking position. So now he has to raise more money for an escalation, which is he brought himself into a criminal intention now, criminal proceeding, and he has to now claim that he needs $6,500 for a criminal attorney. But what he doesn't realize is that he's involved in much more um, litigation than just the civil and the criminal offense. He doesn't even realize that it's gonna be a case study on why an individual would choose to do such a stupid thing, such as he got a warrant on him. That's a stupid thing for him to do in his alleged position. So here's a felony when you're dealing firearms without a license under 18 USC 922A1A, and that could be up to 5 years. Now let me show you what it's audit dem. Right, yeah, you're right about that, Rebecca. It's like something that a weirdo would do, like a predator would do, and his followers have to be that type of sick society that has to be on notice. That what they're doing is not tolerated in a civilized society, right? So here's witness intimidation. You see, here's what he fails to realize. Let me pull up witness intimidation. Check this out. I have pulled up so many counts on the perpetrator. Check this out. And you see, the individual, what happened was that he has 4 years ago went on a live stream while he was intoxicated and threatened a different YouTuber other than me with an AK-47. He brandished a weapon, not once, not twice, 3 times, on 3 different occasions. And he put emails in my inbox that he wanted to split my throat. So this is an individual that has been doing this for 4 years, going on 5 years now, as if nothing is going to happen and that he's going to continue to do this stuff. Catherine, what email are you referring to? What email did you send it to? You might not, you probably can't write up the email completely in my chat section, but if you put the first 3 letters of the email, I'll make sure I take a look. Catherine is asking, is he disabled or not? Yes, when he committed that offense, he was disabled. He was intoxicated. When you're intoxicated in the statute, it clearly lists you out as being disabled, and it's a felony to possess a firearm when you are under a disability, which is under intoxication. The fact that he committed that offense 4 years ago and still to this day carries on this behavior with an active arrest warrant in the state of Illinois against him, which is going to linger on and carry on in the state of Ohio, is that his police department failed to properly investigate that. I'm doing the investigation for them. I'm moving it all along so I can show you that this guy that we're referring to has no regard for human life, and his guns are going to are going to have to be surrendered during the duration of this criminal proceeding and stalking, because it shows his intentions from his words on a daily basis, and his intent to murder, his intent to kill, right? Whether he's saying these statements directly or indirectly, clear or subliminal, or via texts, as in the words that he writes, he would write his full name and he would write my name next to it, and he would say he wants to unalive me. So these things that carry on for 4 years that are being broadcasted on this live stream, they're not going to go uncovered. There's going to be a closing point to this case, and we're going to be able to learn from these type of scenarios that none of this stuff should be tolerated. And you can't just ignore these type of things, because these type of parasites, if you ignore them, that means you're taking the coward route out. These parasites could leech on and cause death or harm towards somebody else that's not strong enough to fight this type of sickness. So here I am, to the fullest extent of the law, I am fighting this parasite, and in the end, justice will be served. Catherine, I'm not sure what email. If you could tell me the first 3 letters of the email you sent it to, just type in the first 3 letters of the email in the comment section. So now check this out. I don't have time to sit around and keep going back and forth. That's why I already got everything in the courts, and the courts take time to handle this stuff. I cannot let that investigation go. I have to get to the bottom of that. Is that he is the one who sent those emails, terroristic emails, that are defined under the cyber terrorism statute, or the cyber stalking, which we already read through. Oh, okay, contact. Yeah. Let me look on my email now, Catherine. Let me go ahead and open up my email now. Let's see here. So contact audit them email, and when I open it up and I look through my inbox, you know what, let me check in the spam folder. No, Catherine, I do not see your email. I see other harassing emails that came in from recently from the stalker's followers on his behalf, which those are still, I'm being contacted as if I'm being contacted directly by the stalker. According to Illinois law, when there's a court order in place for forbidding third parties, whatever third party harassment comes in on behalf of the stalker, it's as if the stalker is doing it himself. See, what he fails to realize is he may say something like, "Oh, just don't watch my channel. If you don't like it, don't watch it." That's something a predator would say. How about he should govern himself regularly and say he should abide by a court order instead of violating the court order and telling the protected party not to watch it. The more he comes on these panels and harasses and doxes and commits crimes against the court order, the more harm it causes and riles up a mob type of audience that can further commit telecommunication fraud and harassment, which they have done and disrupted my phone system 2 times. So you see, this is a big campaign of harassment, and the guy has an image of his head on a snake, and he calls himself a convicted felon, right? He plays with these things as if it's satire, and he laughs at death. You know what I'm saying? And says, I'm telling you, this guy is something is off with him, man. But Catherine, I did not receive your email. I have another email if you'd like to try to. Courts take too much time. A lot can happen in real life time. Yeah, you're right about that, Rebecca. A lot can happen. But here's what he doesn't realize either, is that the level of his doxing is such at an aggravated level. It's like his police chief or his mayor is bound by a new complaint every day. So let's say this stalker issues a new threat every day. That new threat could and would be reported on a daily basis. So when the city starts getting clear statutory violations and threats, death threats on a daily basis, and they fail to take these things seriously, or if they fail to act on these things, then it's like I said, there's other measures beyond that. The courts move slow. We've emailed you for a long time. I sent a reply. No worries, praying for you. Katharina, here's another email here. I have not received any emails from you. Here, I put my email in the comment section. There was a person that went on a live stream and said that I was slandering the perpetrator. Man, these people are twisted and demented. The people that follow that psychopath. By the way, Katharina Woodrick, if you want, you could send me a copy or forward over to the Gmail email, because I don't think it was sent. Maybe you typed it up wrong or something. But see, and here's the thing: in this day and age, there's what they refer to as "you see something, you say something." So if this psychopath is setting up false alarms and saying things that he wants, let's just say he's claiming that he wants to, say he's driving around saying he's got these weapons, and in the same sense, he can't do that anymore. He can't just drive around and say he's got weapons just to say it, and in the same sense start talking about the court order. Because now, while there's a warrant out for his arrest, Anytime he brings about guns, you should report him anyway. Whether he has guns or not, he's saying it. You don't know if he has it or not. Why is he saying it? If he's saying it, and in the same sense, he's saying that he intentionally is driving slow, he does not want to get pulled over, and in the same sentence, he's talking about the court order, this is another count that has to be reported. And if the law enforcement does not take action on this count, they are indeed going to be held to malfeasance. You know, the person that's making these accusations is lying to his audience, saying these things. But why would the person be lying? And why would he be lying about these things? Why would he be saying that he's driving around with weapons, doesn't want to get pulled over by sneaky bastard police? Why would he be saying these things? Don't you think these things should be reported? Yes, they will be reported, and the perpetrators will be held accountable because they are to take action. So now this guy, he's clearly showing you his intention that he's going out to the parks. He's got AK-47s. He's got weapons that are restricted from carrying in the state of New York and California. He's saying that some suicidal tendencies when he's driving on the highway, and saying, these are all this evidence that I have, and I'm telling you guys, it's all going to be on a video of just him doing the talking. You're not going to hear none of my opinions, none of my narratives, nothing. All you're going to see is this guy in a course of conduct with the date and the time frames every single day, from day to day, back to back, while there's a criminal warrant against him and a order against him. So you guys are going to be the judge for yourself. It's going to be clips that would link you back to the full video to show you that this guy that we're referring to is talking in broad daylight that he's going to cause harm. He's from Ohio, and he lives in the city of Willoughby, and on a daily basis he's doing that with the holding with the firearms. He's doing that while threatening with firearms and issuing death threats on a daily basis. So you sent me the hot tea recipe. Catherine, I'm not sure what you're referencing. Let's check this out, guys. Now, check this YouTube channel that I found. Check this out. Here's the individual we're referring to. Now, check this.
I'm a real piece of fucking shit. Yeah. I don't mind calling myself a piece of fucking shit because I know I'm a piece of fucking shit, okay?
It's the same couple people that were made.
You see, this was from the night that this guy became disabled and intoxicated and threatened a YouTuber with an deadly AK-47. This was 4 years ago. He threatened a different YouTuber. He acknowledges that he has no regard for human life, a complete disregard for human life. And he's sitting in that building, hiding in that building, looking over his shoulder with a warrant out for his arrest, and thinks he's going to type away on a daily basis and target my family and other people's families under the guise where he's unstoppable because nobody could come into his apartment complex. He's sheltered and hidden behind the keyboard like a coward, issuing death threats. Here he is once again. Look at him.
Dark Watch, don't stay.
I'm a real piece of fucking shit. Yeah. I don't mind calling myself a piece of fucking shit because I know I'm a piece of fucking shit.
Man, this guy is such a danger to society. You guys just don't know what... Man, I'm telling you, man.
I've got over 140,000 rounds of ammunition.
Oh my God.
Like this bullshit that just happened in Tulsa tonight. What the fuck? And now look, and now the Democrats want to take away our gun rights. That's why I went on buzzgunshop.com tonight and I ordered 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 of my favorite weapons because the Democrats are trying to take away my rights to high capacity. If the end of the world is near, this is the place you should be right here. I've got over 140,000 rounds of ammunition.
Oh my God.
This
How many rounds of ammo did he claim you had?
If the end of the world is near, this is the place you should be right here. I've got over 140,000 rounds of ammunition.
Oh my God.
This is a 30-round magazine for an AK-47. They're trying to take away my right to own that.
Man, I'm telling you, this guy is not well. This guy is not well at all.
How many rounds of ammo did he claim you had in your house? You can't have that much. That's an armory full. How many rounds of ammo did he claim you had in your house? You can't have that much. That's an armory full. How many rounds of ammo did he claim?
If the end of the world is near, I'm a real piece of fucking shit. Yeah. I don't mind calling myself a piece of fucking shit because I know I'm a piece of fucking shit, okay?
It's the same couple people that were made. Dark Watch, don't stay.
I'm a real piece of fucking shit. Yeah. I don't mind calling myself a piece of fucking shit because I know I'm a piece of fucking shit, okay?
You see, that's somebody that has nothing to live for, nothing to show for, and he's going to pay the price of accountability. He will pay the price of accountability. Alrighty, now check out this website here. If you type in social implications, there's some information on here, disturbing stuff. Check this out.
Public Information Notice, May 6th, 2026. On May 6th, 2026, during a live stream titled Poor Georgie Belay Gets Death Threats on a Daily Basis, David Coulter publicly displayed a payment receipt showing he sent $3,000 to Matthew and Drum of Sec Law, LLC. The receipt, May 24th, 2026. Disturbing comments targeting a minor. On May 24th, 2026, David Robert Coulter posted images of the protected party along with pictures of his underage minor sister while under an active Illinois court order of protection. Under that post, Chuck Bramble made the following sexualized public comments. I hear a lot of fun happens in the back seat, especially those old cars like in that picture. Lots of room for fun. She can give me privates a tune-up at any time. Background on Chuck Bramble. On April 12, 2024, Charles Bramble was arrested for shoplifting $519.16 at Walmart in Laurel County, Kentucky. He was also served on an outstanding bench warrant for failure to appear on a previous shoplifting charge. This individual is now actively participating in the harassment of a protected party and making sexual comments involving a minor, all while David Coulter continues his daily violations of the court order of protection. This behavior raises serious concerns about ongoing criminal activity, including harassment, contempt of court, and potential online predation. We are documenting these public comments and the full pattern of conduct. All evidence is being preserved and forwarded to the appropriate authorities. May 24th, 2026. On May 24th, 2026, Glenn Harlow left the following explicit sexual comment about a 13-year-old girl. I like to butter her muffin, just saying. This comment was made on a Facebook post by David Coulter that featured the minor and her mother. This type of public sexualization of a child is deeply disturbing and unacceptable. A 13-year-old should never be the target of this kind of commentary from grown adults. Profiles involved: Glenn Harlow, Woodstock, Georgia, Metuchen High School, U.S. Army. Screenshots of the post, comment, and profiles are available. Parents, be vigilant. This kind of behavior toward minors online needs to be called out and reported. Protect children. Hold people accountable. On May 12, 2026, David Robert Coulter posted an image of the protected party together with his underage minor sister in what appears to be a deliberate attempt to threaten, harass, and cause severe emotional distress with the stated intent to trigger a heart attack. During this period, Donna Davis of Lake Country Area Agency on Aging was observed on social media mocking the protected party and laughing at shared images involving the minor female. This activity raises serious questions regarding violation of an active Illinois court order of protection, online harassment of a protected individual and a minor, potential concerns involving human trafficking awareness and online predator behavior, government employee participation in conduct targeting someone based on perceived ethnicity. As a public employee working with aging and vulnerable populations, Donna Davis's involvement in this type of behavior while an active protection order is in place is highly concerning. We are documenting these publicly visible actions as part of the ongoing pattern of harassment and contempt of court by David Coulter and his associates. Government agencies have a responsibility to ensure their employees are not participating in or supporting violations of court orders or harassing protected individuals. Beware. David Robert Coulter, an armed and dangerous individual living at Sandcrest Apartments in Willoughby, Ohio, is actively endangering lives and attempting murder from behind his computer screen. In willful and repeated violation of an active Illinois court order of protection, on May 12, 2026, he deliberately posted images of a protected party along with his underage 13-year-old sister with the clear intent to trigger a heart attack and cause severe emotional distress. This is attempted murder through targeted harassment and coercion. His entire channel is dedicated to showcasing coercion against his targets and issuing murder threats, proving he is fully capable of carrying out real-world violence. On May 6, 2026, during a live stream, David Coulter publicly displayed a $3,000 payment receipt to his retained attorney at Matthew and Dramafsek Law, LLC. Yet this has done nothing to stop his continued online terrorizing of people, families, and minors. This dangerous pattern continues as his associates pile on. Government employee Donna Davis from Lake Country Area Agency was seen mocking the protected family and laughing at images involving the minor. Repeat offender Chuck Bramble made 6 sexual comments about the 13-year-old, and U.S. Army veteran Glenn Harlow wrote, "I like to butter her muffin" publicly on the post. These are clear acts of contempt of court, online predation, and harassment of a protected minor. Viewers, be aware and stay extremely cautious. This behavior shows how online harassment can quickly escalate into real harm. If you have any information about David Robert Coulter or his associates, or if you've experienced similar targeting, document everything safely and report it to the proper authorities immediately. Parents, protect your children from this kind of predation. If you're in a safe position to do so, help hold them accountable by sharing this video. Evidence is being preserved and forwarded. This must stop now. Protect vulnerable people and minors online. Beware. David Robert Coulter, a former tutor at Cuyahoga Community College in Ohio, is now an armed and dangerous individual living at Sandcrest Apartments in Willoughby, Ohio. Despite his past role educating students at Tri-C under President Dr. Michael A. Baston, David Coulter has become a disturbed stalker, actively violating an active Illinois court order of protection. On May 12, 2026, he deliberately posted images of a protected party and his underage 13-year-old sister with the clear intent to trigger a heart attack and cause severe emotional distress. This is attempted murder through online harassment and coercion. His entire channel is dedicated to showcasing coercion, death threats, and targeting families. May 24, 2026. Disturbing comments targeting a minor. May 24. Public information notice. May 6, 2020.
So you see, this should be disturbing and alarming because what this is showing is it's showing evidence of each and every
May 24.
Here you have
On May
you have an army veteran. Here you have an army veteran with his full name going on a platform of a stalker who has a court order against him, saying a sexual remark against a 13-year-old girl in a picture, right? So here he's fully exposed. That's something a predator would do. Here you have another guy.
On May 12th.
You have a government employee on Facebook engaging in this type of rhetoric. So you see, well, this is just, it's uncalled for. It serves no legitimate purpose for these people to be on this website. It fully exposed like that. It serves no legitimate purpose. You know, this is something they cannot
on May 12th.
This is not. This does
beware.
Not have a narrative.
Beware. On May 12th. On May 24th.
Look, it shows this guy with his comments. This is
public information notice. May 6th, 2026. On May 6th, 2026, during a live stream titled "Poor Georgie Belay Gets Death Threats on a Daily Basis," David May 24th.
You see, this could not be disputed when this is his own comments that he put on the screen. So you see, here's the thing. It's like, for example, this guy that you see on the screen, he's a follower of the stalker. He follows the stalker and he enjoys the stalker's content. Well, this guy himself, he's a criminal. He did a petty offense. I think he stole under $400 or above under $1,000 from Walmart, and he got a petty offense, misdemeanor. He got he got arrested and booked and fingerprinted. Here he's got a mugshot, and he's actively putting these messages targeting minors online because he's doing that on the platform of a stalker that has a court order against him. So what's stopping from this criminal behavior? What's stopping this criminal behavior? They're doing it to themselves. They do it for themselves.
On May
Just like this guy. He says, I like to butter her muffins, just saying. Here's a guy, he's aware. He's a U.S. Navy vet that's saying this about a little girl in the picture where she's 13 years old. While that picture is posted is by a guy that has a court order against him. So you see, when you start seeing 150 people like this with their comment, if it's not a pedophile type of comment like these people, predator type of comment, it might be somebody, a professional, leaving a death threat, a government employee leaving a couple, 2 or 3 death threats that are fully exposed, that they done this and they carried out this course of conduct on a stalker's platform while criminal investigation was pending. Just like Rebecca said, yikes. Check this channel out on your own. Social implications.
May 24th, 2026.
Social implications.
Beware.
Anyhow, guys, I think that's going to be it here. We did a couple readings. We looked through the charter. Be on the lookout. I'm going to have more updates. Like I said, I'm fighting this battle here with this individual, but in the end, this person is going to take another loss. You know, he already lost his main channel's monetization. He lost his second channel visibility. He lost in the motion that he put in the civil court the first time. He lost in the criminal proceeding for not showing up. You know, the guy's got a warrant against him. He keeps coming in talking like he's a gangster, you know, like he's untouchable or unstoppable, hiding behind the counter, behind the keyboard in the dark. You know, this is something you can't make threats against people's life on a daily basis and hide behind the keyboard, right? Those emails that you sent are direct threats, and they're going to be uncovered from whatever year you sent them, because that's the same type of rhetoric you continue to spew and you continue to put out. And I'm talking to the followers, I'm talking to whoever's out there doing this type of harassment. You are going to be dragged and hauled through the court. I'm just giving you a little tip here when I'm reading through these statutes. This is just a little tip for you followers, right? Because I'm pushing this all the way to the highest extent. You guys see, I gave you an example. Here you see an example on the screen.
On May 24th.
Here's 2 examples of criminal comments left behind that are not free speech. This is not free speech here when you target people like that with harassment. And so don't be surprised when you get identified and you get a summons to your house and you have to come and answer in the court and you have to retain counsel and spend big money just because these little silly comments that you leave on the comment section that you think that this is just going to brush off. I got a lot of integrity and dignity. I don't let things like this slide when you are warned more numerous times. I don't let these type of things slide. I gave you so much, you know, I gave you folks so many, what is it called, like tips. I read the statutes for you clearly. I'm telling you, folks, these things that you folks are doing, you folks are engaged in, this is prohibited, because you wouldn't want it done towards you or your family, right? Because it's wicked and evil. It's pure demonic and criminal. That's why there's criminal proceeding. And you guys are going to be the stupidest upon stupidest for following someone that's going to mislead you into the dark side of the internet, which you think behind your keyboard nobody knows who you are, but then when you're tracked, you're going to have to answer in court. That's it, man. That's it. So let it be clear, man, because this stuff is not going to be prolonged and delayed. You know, here you see 3 individuals on the screen.
On May 12th,
Here you got this individual named Donna Davis, who allegedly, based on her own public Facebook, allegedly she works for the aging government, for the government department. If she works for the government department, how is it that she publicly displays more than 2 comments or participates and engages? And actually, yeah, it's 2 or more. So we could say 15, 20, 30 comments that are against her job description, either racist, ethnic, or ethics, or a deadly threat, or engaged in exploitation of minor, like they're doing. So how is it that we're not going to get on the phone and we're going to show up at these people's council meeting and we're going to completely provide evidence to what these folks are engaged in, one by one? I don't care. Okay, this employee works for that county. I'm not going out of my way to do this documentary. Nah, these people chose this amongst themselves to sit there and contact me and try to think that I'm playing with them, which I'm not. Instead, I'm not on their level. They're playing games that a criminal would play through internet communication, through telecommunications. I'm not playing on that level. I'm using that against them so we can start talking in negotiable, right? This is what we're doing. We're doing in the grown folk table. We're not playing evil games with these people back and forth. They like doing that. No, if they want to play evil, fine. Bring your energy behind your keyboard. You will have a chance to be heard. You're going to explain yourself now and try to get away from these things that you type up. I just want these folks to hold the same energy that they have online. Don't try to dispute that was you saying these things and doing these things when there was fair warning telling you that, hey, just govern yourself accordingly, right? You should already have the wherewithal to know to govern yourself accordingly, because that's the type of non-profit I may be pushing. That's the type of non-profit organization I may be pushing, right? I may be pushing a new non-profit organization that says, hey, how we could fight back against if you are a target of some type of internet telecommunication harassment campaign. Because really, like, if you're getting bombarded with being contacted through telecommunications, you gotta handle your business through your mobile device. You can't have your mobile device disrupted when you want to carry on your business and your affairs. If you got a set of people, weirdos and stalkers that are anonymous, coming together and doing these things, man, that's going to be the biggest movie on these people expose when we get to see and hear their voice. I like to hear their voice. All the time we see they're typing comments on the screen, thinking they're anonymous, engaged in criminal intent. But we like to hear their voice and we like to know who they are, because that's just a part of human nature, is to say, oh look, govern yourself accordingly. That's really about all it. I try to put in a good faith effort all the time, and I keep telling you and I keep reminding you, this stuff is a gift and a curse. Just like life, you have to deal with these things. You have to make the best outcome. This guy's best outcome that you see on the screen, his best outcome is misery. He has nothing. He's a destroyer, right? He's determined. He's a destroyer. He's a deceiver. He wants to take whatever he can with his misery. Me, on the other hand, I'm attempting to do right based on my channel and what I do with my channel and my auditing. And it shows progression and it shows truth. Why? Because I focus in and I read through the laws. I don't sit here and lie and defame and slander people and disrupt their phone and dox them on purpose. These people, they go out of their way. They find the problem and there's solution for those problems. So you got to be the bigger person. You got to be the bigger person in the situation. And like I said, I'm thankful and I'm grateful that God has made me with this wherewithal to be able to present this, because this is a case study here. You're gonna see, man. Look at how
Beware.
Look at how he looks on his camera. This is a picture of him on his camera. Man, I swear to God, when you look into his eyes, you see that there's a spirit.
On May 12th, 2020,
He is gonna lose. He's going to have to voluntarily surrender. He's going to lose it. He's bringing this amongst himself. He's showing a disregard. The one who encourages you to audit them.